Spend less time searching and more time watching with Streamline, a Northeast Ohio-born company revolutionizing how we watch, enjoy, and organize entertainment.
In this episode of the DeliverThat Founder Series, we sit down with co-founder Ryan Schreiber to explore the journey of creating a game-changing app, the challenges of scaling a startup, and the lessons learned along the way. Welcome back to the DeliverThat Founder Series.
Ryan, I really appreciate, man, you coming down here. You come from Cleveland, Ohio. What part of Cleveland are you from?
So I live in Pepper Pike. I lived in downtown Cleveland for a while, but thank you guys for having me. I'm happy to be down here.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Ryan, we met Ryan. I met Ryan actually at a founders dinner that we were doing in Cleveland for, I think, Jeffrey Stern and Caleb Dumont.
Yes.
They were hosting, and it was a beautiful, it's at Caleb's house.
Oh,
beautiful event, catered event. Food was phenomenal, but me and Ryan hit it off there. I don't even think you guys were even like your app wasn't even launched yet.
No. Yeah, we were still. It's just a crazy person with an idea still at that point. But yeah, no, you guys, we kind of got to know each other quickly. Fast friends. Like I feel like you guys as founders are just kind of very encouraging, right?
Sure.
Which like, and when you're getting started, it's really hard. And you guys have just been very warm and encouraging, which is appreciated and means a lot.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I think that's one thing that I like to do because I don't feel like you and I got that when we were at OU. We were younger, number one, and two.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
It seemed to me like the founder mentality is more like keep to yourself and not like share your expertise or wisdom with others. So
Yeah.
I know we've played at least one or maybe two rounds of golf together.
Yeah.
Those have been great things. We've shared
A lot of fun.
a lot of stories, a lot of the things that we've learned over the years. But yeah, let's talk about Streamline though. Streamline. When I heard about this idea and concept, it immediately jumped out to me as that there's value here because I've caught myself, and we'll have you pitch the business real quick. But I caught myself like, sort of in that scrolling lull. So if you could take 30, the elevator pitch. On
Yeah,
Streamline.
I'll give it to you. Yeah. So, a couple years ago, I was just like sitting on my couch looking for something to watch one night. And I just I wish all my shows in sports were on my calendar, when they're on, where to watch them, which streaming platform, because I, forget, I don't remember. I don't know when my shows are back. I spend 20 minutes looking for something to watch. And so I started to talk to people about like their pain points of finding what to watch. And, really what I quickly found was everyone just wants to know what their friends are watching, right? Mm-hmm. Every dinner turns into what are you watching, but you might not make a note. And even if you do, you still got to Google where to watch it. And you might forget altogether. And, for books, you've got Goodreads, which is a great social network around what people are reading. There's obviously other affinity social platforms. And as this idea was evolving, I started to see sports moving to streaming in exclusive capacities with that, like Dolphins Chiefs Peacock game last playoffs, right? And sports fans had been kind of ignored by some of the solutions that are out there to navigate what to watch. And so, we were like, let's build something that navigates what to watch across streaming platforms for sports shows and movies all in one place. And really what we think the glue is going to be is that it's the source of what your friends are watching, which we think is more compelling than what something is rated or ranked. People just want to know what their friends are watching.
Yep. Yeah, that's kind of the layer of truth. That's my filter if I want to watch it.
Think about the conversation you and I just had with Matt the other day. We're talking about, I think it might have been the show I was talking about. You ever watched, it's either pronounced Devs or Deus. It's about quantum computing, and this might have came out
It's
during.
not pronounced devs?
I think the name Deus is like it's got a Greek. It's either means God or something like that.
Isn't it DEVS?
It's
devs.
The V might be either. It's not. I don't think it's pronounced devs.
Understood.
Clearly, none of us are
there's
classics guy.
Anyways, to be the story. Him and I are talking about like this genre of like this.
Yeah.
I'm a kind of like a science fiction, not even science fiction nerd anymore. It's more like stuff's coming. It's reality now, quantum computing.
Yeah.
But like he recommended a show. He's like, have you ever watched? Is it Severance?
Oh yeah.
And I'm like,
popular.
no. So it's like immediately right there. It's like I can I'm directly aligned with how Matt is watching shows.
Yep.
But like, I didn't know where to go.
Right. So,
I
you
go,
want to see what Matt's watching. You just want to go on.
Yes.
You want Matt on Streamline, be able to go look at what he's watching, and you can
Yes.
do that on Streamline with anyone you follow.
exactly. And I didn't know where. Like, is it on Prime? Is it on?
Right.
Is it on Apple? I had to find out it's on Apple, and I couldn't. I don't have a subscription for it, so I couldn't watch it.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
But it's like all that time and effort could have it's solved by this.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, imagine you go and see what's Elon watching. All right, maybe I want to see what Elon Musk is watching. That might be useful, right?
yeah.
A lot of people might not want to see that. But
Well, you should
some
get your
may.
kind of sci-fi playlist going there, right?
Yeah, I know, man.
You could have shared playlists with other people around what you're watching or with your partner, right? Like sometimes I find something to watch and my wife's like, I'm not watching that. It's like, it's been 20 minutes and that was what I came up with.
Yeah,
you
back
know?
to the drawing board.
Back to the drawing board. So we have a shared playlist right now, and then we have a shared playlist for our kids of what they should, what they can watch.
I think that exact scenario is like picking dinner. Like, what do you want to eat tonight? It's like you pick. Well, it's like I'll eat anything. It's like, well, no, you won't. Because you're gonna say no to every option I give you.
Or you're gonna complain about it.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think the moral of this is like, the real value you're adding is not only like, are you providing insights on like what other people are watching, but you're saving time. I think that's the biggest thing for everybody.
Totally.
It's like if you can save time in any product or service, that has extreme value.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of times I'll go like, we're gonna watch something, then you start scrolling, and eventually 20 minutes goes by, and I'm like, I'm good. I don't know what to watch.
Yeah. Or you end up on your phone, or like you passively watch something, or just on. Yeah. So it's definitely a point of frustration for the consumer, and there's a real industry problem too. These platforms aren't printing money, and they want to distribute their content across platforms, right? They're trying with their individual emails. And so we think we can be a valuable partner, right? To the industry, right? To help distribute content and help people find what to watch across platforms. So,
because I'm only thinking the value to the end consumer. I'm not really thinking about the value.
Right.
I don't know their business models.
Yeah. But we think we can kind of bring it together and be in really help make it a more enjoyable experience and a better business.
Yeah.
And when did you launch this?
We launched officially November 20th. Okay. So we're about 2 months in now. Awesome. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations on that, by the way.
When did you quit your job?
In June.
Okay.
Yeah. So
let's get into that. Actually.
Yeah.
So Ryan doesn't have, I say like I don't know if it's called a luxury, but like Ryan is different than me and John, where we've done this since we've been 19. It's like we never had a corporate job, never really had a job entirely.
Yeah.
Jealous, you guys.
I don't know if you would have been jealous of us back in like 2016, 2017.
Yeah, when you're like 27 and you're
like,
broke.
No,
I hear you. Yeah.
Hey, and the old, the black mold in the office, we just basically couldn't even pay
living off popcorn.
Yeah, living off popcorn. It was crazy times.
I respect it, man.
But you've had a taste of both of like the lifestyles, right? Of like being an employee, working for somebody else, and also being a founder.
Yeah.
And
being successful.
Being very successful, by the way, too. So, I mean, could you talk about like the mentality shift or even like what you did previously?
Yeah, no, I'll happy to talk about it. So I worked in investment banking for my first 2 years out of school. I went through a great training program at KeyBank. I had a liberal arts degree, so it gave me some hard finance, accounting, capital markets skills. So great people there that I worked with, great experience, highly demanding, worked on some really cool deals. I didn't feel a sense of ownership because you went deal to deal. And so I really wanted to like be part of growing a company. And I was fortunate enough that there's a founder in Cleveland named Matt Carpenter who I knew well. And I was able, and Matt had some traction with a business called Vertical Knowledge. And I went and worked there starting about 9.5 years ago now, and was able to manage some of the financial services accounts and then really grow as a salesperson and help build a team. And that business grew and was acquired just about a year ago. And so had a great 9-year run there. The acquisition, along with kind of having this idea, was kind of the right time because like my whole leaving finance job to go to it was kind of beyond a startup, but a growing technology business definitely came with I want to be an entrepreneur, a tech entrepreneur at some point. I never knew what the idea would be that would get me excited enough to do that. But kind of this idea started to stir up, and as we started to explore it, I just kind of fell in love with solving this problem. And I think That's what ultimately compelled me to leave the steady job, to go for it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Was there like a defining moment that you remember when you're like, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to, is there something that stands out to you as like an event?
Yeah, it's funny. So I had the idea, I kind of told you guys, and like a few months went by where I would say like I was like thinking about it, but like it wasn't like a business idea. And I watched over Christmas at the end of 22, so like 2 years ago, this documentary on Netflix called The Playlist about Spotify in the start and how Spotify was started. And it's from 6 different people's perspectives, each of the 6 episodes of this kind of mini series. And I was kind of like, that was way harder to do than kind of what I kind of am starting to stir up in my head, just given music rights, right? And the restrictions there and how they overcame that.
Because at this moment, you're trying to bring down the risk of starting this thing. And you're trying to
and there's no way to fully do this,
right?
With something like this, right?
Trying to digest what you're about to get into.
Yeah, and so to me, it was like okay, that was way harder. So it was like, it was very early, and that was before I even explored trying to get someone to build a prototype or anything like that. But that was probably a moment where I was like, I really do think I could and want to do this, and started me on kind of the path of trying to find someone to build a prototype and really go a layer deeper. Yeah. I mean, that's still like a year plus away from me leaving my job or really exploring this.
Okay.
That's probably when you knew like, hey, I got to actually pursue this a little bit. I got to see this.
Yeah. I always had this like urge. My dad was an entrepreneur. I always had this urge that I wanted to do this. And I kind of had this anxiety about like what would make me do it and what was I going to do next. Cause as much as like I enjoyed my last thing, like I knew I wanted something else for whatever that was going to be, right? It was a great experience, 9 years, loved it, loved the people. But I was looking for it, right? There were some other couple things I'd toyed around with, but never that had kind of compelled me or gotten me this excited. Yeah.
Materialized.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, so before you can even, I mean, again, much different business model than ours, right? True SaaS model, true software. Like we were service first, and then the software came later on.
Sure.
So we had the luxury of generating revenue literally the second we started our business.
Yeah.
You're in a much different space than we are.
Yep.
It's different businesses.
Yep. So
I know you've raised capital.
Yes.
Can you talk to us about like that process?
Yeah.
Like, because from my perspective, by the way, I've had a lot of entrepreneurs pitch me their businesses.
Sure.
And approach us for money. Okay. I think you had the best approach to fundraising that I've seen out of any founder. Me personally. Yeah. Seriously. I'm not even joking.
Yeah. It didn't always I feel like that in my seat, but I appreciate
you had a clear problem you were looking to solve. You had a clear I don't want to. I'm kind of giving the answer for you right now, but it's like you had a clear ask in what to do with the money.
Yeah.
I don't see that. The stuff we get, it's like people are confused. They don't know what they want to do. They just have an idea, and it's like they don't even know what the next step is. So
well, a lot of it was you're going to do it regardless. Sometimes the people are like, I'm looking to you for guidance on what the next step is. You were like,
we were doing it. Like
help a lot.
I was kind of like already moving while I was fundraising, right? Exactly. Like I put up the most money individually, right? So that was my like first thing, right? So like my money's where my mouth is here. Obviously not everyone starting a business, not every 19-year-old at OU can do that, but like I was in a position to do that. So there was that element. And then I'm fortunate to have a great network from all stops in my life, both schools, jobs, all there are investors from kind of every time period in my life, which I think is really cool. We raised money from 32 individuals to get this going. I had a lot of conversations. It was frankly harder than I thought it would be to get some money raised to get this going. I maybe took that for granted because I'm a salesperson by trade, and because I have a great network and kind of had that in the back of my head. But there were some real challenges too in terms of, folks that I thought were, writing checks that may not have, right? Or dollar amounts shifting around, right?
Yep.
And those are things you learn on the fly, that until the money's in the bank. And I knew it as a salesperson, right? It's like, but it's different in raising capital for
sure.
a business. And so that was certainly a learning experience. And then now I'm, we're not quite there yet, but I'm trying to understand and learn, more what the institutional investment world around B2C products like this looks like, because it is capital intensive, to get something like this moving.
Absolutely,
no doubt.
Yeah, especially if you're not the one writing the code and you have a SaaS business.
Right. No. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Right.
Yep.
So, and that's where, and nor am I a B2C marketer, right? So it's the team building has been a huge part of this. Now we're fortunate. We have a team that really believes in it and has bought into the equity piece of it.
Yep.
But we have people taking deep discounts on what they've been making in the past.
Oh yeah.
Because they believe in what we're doing and they believe that there's real value in it.
Yep.
And I'm extremely grateful, for that.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a story that sticks out to me that I actually have told on this podcast before, how, when I was going for institutional money to raise capital, and I got, basically sunned, I got basically put in my place very quickly that I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I didn't know how to spend the money, and the ask we
looks
were
like you figured it out. If I'm looking around, looks like you might have known what you were doing.
Maybe
this guy, maybe not, but you, I think
yeah. We tend to figure things out here.
Yeah, you do.
Definitely tend to figure things out. But again, I imagine you're gonna have to do more fundraising rounds. But my question here to you is there a story that sticks out to you specifically, of a conversation you had, good or bad, where it's like, wow, this is different than I thought, because for me, mine was, I go to have a dinner in New York City with a VC. Yeah. I go to ask her for she pulls her checkbook out. It's how much you need? Because she loved the business.
Yeah, and she wanted to write you a huge check,
$20 million. And I was like, I'm asking for $1 million or $2 million. I was like, yeah, I don't know what to do. She's like, starts laughing, puts checkbook away. I don't write checks less than $20 million.
It's wild.
So is there any of those stories for you? Something that
I did, there is one. So I was talking to a VC very early on in this process, and they basically said to me that the sports fan and the show fan are two different people. And I kind of was like, in a lot of cases, sure, but I just looked in the mirror and only saw one person. and so there was kind of that moment where I was like, I get that there are, whoever it is, advisors, VCs are going to say there's a way to do things, amount of capital or strategy, but it's like, we're trying to create something different here. And that cross section of consumption, we think, has been kind of missed. We're even hearing already from film fans that they love getting notifications of when a game is on, because they do sometimes like to have a game on passively, or their partner watches, right? Yes. And so not everything is always black or white. And I think we're trying to find somewhere where we can bring people together through consumption. And so that was kind of one of those moments where it was kind of like someone said something and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get told a lot of things about how I'm wrong here. And and I have to learn and listen. I'm not discounting those things. And we're all about learning, just culturally, we have great product analytics in place. Don, my co-founder, always says, we're all about running experiments, right? All we have is, speed and experiments, right? So, it was one of those moments for me, like you kind of described, where you're what am I, I'm going to have people.
Never thought about it like this before.
Right, right. So.
Yeah, I think you're definitely, we had plenty of similar experiences, people telling us how to do it, what to do. Yeah, and we just had blinders on. Yeah. You definitely listen, you definitely learn. But unless they're in the arena with you, you only take their advice so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you take everyone's advice and you talk to as many people as you need to be talking to, you will get knocked off your course. Yeah. But there is great advice you get along the way, right? And you have to lean into the people that are, have a different perspective. I even find it with our team, the different perspectives are really strong. Yep. And often there's an answer we get to because we have different perspectives.
For sure.
And I have a recent example of that where Don and I, like, we're trying to figure out how to communicate something, and I hadn't thought about it one way and he hadn't thought about it one way, and we kind of found this middle ground to send something. And it was like, okay, that is case in point where you need different perspectives, and that's healthy, but you also have to be willing to be like stubborn sometimes too about what you really believe.
Yeah.
And it's the balancing act, right?
Right.
Of like, you know, we use like the what here, right? Like the what is like, this is what we're doing as a business. And that necessarily cannot change. You have to be, I can't say it can't change, but you have to be nimble and change course. But it's like,
It needs to be strong.
You can't lose, the what. Like, what are you looking to do? You know, like that's the thing. And I feel like at times when we've gotten off course, we've just forgotten about the what, the vision, like what we're actually trying to do, the problem we're looking to solve.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
So
how have you figured out so this, like, don't get me wrong, we've had a lot of things go wrong and we need to change, but like, how do you, over a longer period of time, like in looking back, how do you think about when you were off course and how you figured that out and then made those changes?
that's a great question.
Sorry to turn it around.
No, I think for us, what's ever knocked us off our course is when we stray away from who we are as a company, and that is. We never at least from my perspective, you know, when we were starting this, it's like we never took the easy way for anything. We never took shortcuts. We never cut corners. We turned over every single stone in our business and we explored everything. We created optionality.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like when we've gotten off course or we make a bad decision or a bad move, it comes back to like, at some capacity, there's a level of complacency, a level of laziness, a level of, hey, we made it, we're good. I mean, you see, like, it's a successful business, right? Like,
right, but it's still, you guys are both still in here today doing something.
Exactly. It's like, and there's more to be done. And the second someone, or especially the founder, okay, the founders potentially, right?
Yep.
The second you start kicking your feet up, I made it.
Yeah.
I did it.
It's
You know,
over.
you're done.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get
'Cause someone's
slapped in the
coming.
face.
Yeah.
Someone's coming to kick you off the top.
Yeah.
Yep.
And every time we've taken a step back, we've always come out significantly stronger because we get back to our roots.
I always say we're just pulling back the arrow every time.
Yeah.
You know, and you're just pulling it
reload.
back and just. But I think how many conversations? So you had 32 investors.
Yes.
I mean, would you have 1,000? I mean, how 1,000 conversations?
I wouldn't say
We
1,000, but like, I mean,
way more than 32.
yeah, I mean, hundreds, and not all those were fundraising, right? Like, you're going out to network, right?
Yep.
Like, you're trying to find people that may know someone that could be someone to contribute, right?
Yep.
That is a talent, is from a talent perspective, you're just networking, right? You don't always know where a conversation is going to lead, but yeah, I mean, part of one of my green lights was that in what started to go from a couple hundred conversations to a few hundred that now I might frame as 500 or 600 or maybe 700 conversations, that only X amount, and now I think it's up to like 9, know of the first mover in this space. So it's like, okay, even if their product's good, no one I'm talking to knows of it.
Yep.
Or of the other ones. So there's clearly an opening here.
Absolutely.
But so that, I mean, I've had a ton of conversations. How many of those directly tied to investing? Probably a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's like for us, the no stone unturned. This year there might be 10 conversations that shape the next 5 years of this business, but you had to have 1,000 of them to get
there.
those 10. So you just keep going.
Yeah.
You don't stop.
I hear you.
Did you read that book, Green Light, by Matthew McConaughey?
I actually have not. Have you?
Phenomenal.
That's
Really?
One
You
of
would
the best
recommend
books
it?
I've ever read in my life.
Wow. Okay.
Green Light.
That's just a term
Quick,
I
too.
like.
Green Light. It's incredible, his story, man.
Yep.
It's
Okay.
a lot of what he talks about, I feel like could at least help me balance the act of the ups and downs of like what he had to go through with his own acting career and like
he wasn't some instant success.
no, well, it's like he talks about this at length, man. It's like it's very applicable to a founder how he approaches acting
For sure.
like his career in acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what you've accepted is you're on this roller coaster now,
Totally.
right? It's like it's great.
Tried to pre-sell my wife on it. Yeah, like, hey, this isn't going to be easy.
No one's going to understand.
But you say that going into it, right? Like, it's going to be harder than but like, you have some moments where, like, yeah, this is harder than I knew it was going to be hard and harder than I knew, but it's harder than I even could have imagined.
Yeah, because every time it gets bad, I'll just be like, we signed up for this.
Right. No, you do make a
what we
decision
chose.
when you're getting into it,
Yep.
right? Like, and you got to go into that really clear-eyed, I think.
Yep.
No question, man. Okay, so Streamline launched last November. I know we've come up on time a little bit here, so let's talk about the next evolution of Streamline. Okay, you've launched this this platform. Don't give us like the next 6 months, but like in 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Like what is Streamline?
Yeah. I mean, I really most simply want it to be enjoyable for you to sit down on the couch to watch TV at night. I just want you to be able to sit down and immediately put something on that allows you to relax. We all have stress in our days, right? And we go to sit down on the couch for a very small amount of time to decompress, and I want that to be enjoyable. I don't want you to have to scroll around. So I want you to right away just know what's on, right? Know what you want to watch, and I want to give that to you by building out an ecosystem, where you can see what your friends are watching, and it solves this problem in the cleanest, simplest, easiest way, and you're able to have some community, and maybe you reconnect with some people through it, right? That oh, you like that, you like your sci-fis too, and you guys have a shared playlist, and you see what they're right. Like, I think there's a lot of cool things that can come from this. So that's really what I want. I want to solve this from a business perspective, and I want to create a really awesome business, but I want to do that by absolutely, delighting our users, right?
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's great. John, you can finally find someone that can watch rom-coms with you now.
End it.
Cha-ching. We had a jet.
Go follow John Zeno on Streamline
I
and
can't
see
hide.
his rom-com playlist.
I can only hide for so long.
That was just completely out of left field. But anyways, if and we'll drop some links in here, but we'll do this or that after. But like, if a user's trying to find Streamline or a customer, like where do they find you guys at?
Yeah, so right now we're in the Apple App Store. So you search Streamline, you might see one ad, and then we'll be the first thing that pops up. Follow us on Instagram or TikTok or other platforms. Streamline.watch is often, is our website and is a lot of our social handles. But download Apple App Store. We'll be in Google Play soon. It's a high priority. But we're come download it and see what your friends are watching. Make a playlist. Follow all your teams. Add the NFL playoffs right now, so you know where all those games are to watch. Right, they're all over the place. So get on Streamline.
It's cool.
Follow Streamline.
I want to just throw a couple questions in here before we get into this or that I feel like would be pertinent to touch on, if you don't mind.
Hit us.
You guys partnered with ESPN Cleveland.
Yes.
And you talked about the one advisor or investor saying the viewer and these like sports watcher are two different people.
Sure.
And when you think about a streaming platform, you think about partnering with these massive conglomerates like Hulu or Netflix and getting their listings. But when you think about it more locally like that and partnering with ESPN Cleveland, Orlando, and these local markets, does that make the framework of how you branch out and get new viewers on the platform like a little more feasible?
I think so, right? Like when we talk about how the social piece is what we think people really love and want, the only way to do that is build density, right, in terms of your user base. So by focusing on a local market first and solving the most pertinent problems for the local fan, we think we can do that, right? Like, so that Cleveland fans, right, can see where to watch their teams, but to your point, kind of on that cross section, we've partnered with ESPN Cleveland, as you mentioned, in the section in the show. We're sponsoring a segment within the Really Big Show. It's actually on right about now, Thursday mornings. That is RJ the Movie Critic, right? So sports fans, time where they talk about movies every week. So that cross section is kind of where we're meeting the Cleveland fan. And so, absolutely local, even some college campuses we're doing some work with. We think are a key way to kind of build that user base and density, so that it can really scale from there.
Yeah, colleges would be huge.
Hell yeah. And then the one last thing I wanted to ask about, obviously we're all Northeast Ohio guys, and you guys pre-recording, we might have caught the audio a little bit, but not necessarily the video, but you're talking about the networks you're building up in Cleveland in this area. You threw out a few names, but not a lot of people think about Northeast Ohio and Cleveland, about this entrepreneurial mecca of sorts.
Yeah.
Like you think about Cleveland, Ohio, you think about what's happening right now. There's snow on the ground. It's minus 10 degrees, and people are like,
the Browns suck.
Yeah, why would you ever go to this place? No one wants to be there.
Best record in the NBA, Aaron.
Cavs
We can
are
be
incredible.
positive.
So what is it like for you, the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Northeast Ohio? Do you feel like building businesses in Cleveland is a good idea, I guess, point blank?
Yeah, I think it is. I think there's a great entrepreneurial ecosystem that goes back to Rockefeller, and there's been many great business people in Cleveland, and there's a lot of great business people like you guys that have been generous to me getting going. There's a lot of investors and folks involved with Streamline that have been very successful, building businesses in Cleveland. What I'd say is, you haven't seen a ton of high growth technology wins. There's some great technology companies in Cleveland. But I think that's probably more what you're speaking to. And I think it's absolutely a motivating factor for us, right? Is that we really do want to build a team and a business from here. And, I think it absolutely can be done, especially in a post-COVID world. But it's certainly, you get the perspective on something like this sometimes that sounds like more like a Silicon Valley thing, right? And so that's certainly gives us an extra little motivating factor in this.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed, so I had no idea this founder community existed until we had dinner.
Well, Jeff Stern brought and Caleb Dumont brought everyone together, right?
And one thing I'll tell you why I think Cleveland is one of the best places in the world to build right now is, I'd say world, maybe U.S., okay? It's the mentality that us as founders, we don't have to hide behind these massive VCs that have, it's like we want to get our hands dirty. We want to work, right? And you pair that with vision.
Right. People want to help each other.
That's a dynamic combo where it's like you have hard work plus vision. You might not have gone to Harvard. I didn't go to Harvard. I barely graduated college. But hard work at the end of the day, in my opinion, it's going to beat the Harvard education person, because you know what we have that some people don't? The relentlessness, the pursuit that you're not going to be complacent with just raising one round. It's like, this is your baby. And it's like, you're going to make it work.
Right.
That's how I've approached this. I didn't realize there was other people out there, especially the amount that were like us in Cleveland. And they're everywhere.
Yeah, because this founder journey it's pretty lonely.
Totally.
Isolating. Can't really relate to many people. Not many people can give you advice. You really have to seek these people out, and to know that there's this big network in Cleveland.
It's powerful. Yeah, I think it's really cool how Jeff Stearns used his podcast and some of those events and that dinner, right, to bring people together. I think that's so powerful. That's how we met. I met a few other guys. I think we both met that night I'm having coffee with someone next week I know that I met that week. I've texted over kind of the holidays with a lot of that crew, just because there is kind of this common experience that I think is really cool.
What's crazy?
Yeah.
They all want to work. They all want to work hard.
Yep.
They're just sitting around collecting a check.
Yep. No, they want to help each other.
Yeah.
Give advice.
Totally. And want to see each other succeed, right? I think that's cool, right? There's kind of this team mentality there for sure.
I have not seen that type of environment anywhere else that I've been during any of my travels, any of my meetings that I go to different areas or states or cities. I have not experienced the level of just mentality of hard working, help each other as founders. Yeah. Right.
Yep. No, it's cool.
How's it been with hiring your first employees, and how's this team?
Yeah, really fortunate that have a co-founder now, Don Pawlowski, who's running our tech and product.
Nice.
Highly experienced guy, incredible kind of leader and real partner in this with me. And Brandon Wetzel, who's our full-time founding engineer, is an incredible talent. He's truly brilliant. And so the three of us are the full-time team.
Yep.
But then we've got great people. We've got a great UX guy helping us. We've got some great people on the marketing side that are fractional helping us, that are doing really great work. So it's building the team. I thought was frankly going to be harder than raising money, and I can't believe the team we have right now. I had an angel investor in this area really that's been part of some of the biggest successes in the area say to me, we've never seen a team like this at this stage.
Wow.
So I'm really proud of the team we've built, and Caleb, who hosted that night, who's a recruiter in the tech space. It was instrumental in introducing me to Don and a couple other advisors. Definitely, and just networking, that networking process, you got to be relentless there to find the team. But it's the most rewarding part of this. I absolutely love our team. I talked to two of them on my way down here, and got me ready to run through a wall. There, it's just there's nothing like that being, as you guys know, doing it together. For as long as you have, that's the most rewarding part of it.
It still blows my mind that people get excited about the vision that we set out to accomplish.
It's
you know,
better
it's
winning.
still crazy.
It's better winning as a team than it is individual.
Oh,
There's no doubt about it.
It feels so much better.
There's no doubt about it, man. That's what life's about. That's why, like, even the investor group, like, is frankly mostly, you know, people are willing to take a little bit of a bet on me, and that, like, I feel like that type of support and all the people that have been so gracious, you know, like, it's so cool to have that piece of this that you know, people are so invested and engaged with what we're doing. It's really meaningful to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Best part of the show is coming up right now. It's called This or That. Right. Okay. I'm gonna hit you with some questions. This or that style. I think we have one in here that you could. There's 3 options. Okay.
Yeah. Just go back and like you asked one, then John asked one. Does that make
Think you
sense?
have to ask one of these questions.
Oh, they're pretty long.
Netflix or Hulu?
Gotta go Netflix.
East 4th or the Flats?
Met my wife in the Flats, so I'm gonna go
Oh,
Flats.
yeah, we're locked in there.
Well, I see John skipped a question.
We'll bounce around.
You were questioning his ability to do this.
Nice job. This is why you can't get anything. All right. Do we like the live stream things, like watch a live show, or do you want to binge watch a whole season of something?
Still live first.
I think for me, it's the binge watching now.
I love it, but
Yeah.
like still I'm sports first. A show like a Yellowstone, like I want to like be pumped about that new one coming out on a Sunday night still.
You know what I'm really disappointed about is the Severance. You know, they say they released a whole season and then they released one fucking episode. I'm like, really?
I think
one
people-
episode?
I like when they do the parts of season 2, like you almost get 2 binges out of it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but I just thought.
You mean the only one I've
Yeah, new season's out. Watch first episode.
3
done.
yeast, you get one episode.
Are you kidding
At
me?
least so you can track when they're coming out with notifications in your schedule and Streamline, you know?
You know, there are solutions to
Plug it
these.
in.
I like that guy.
No, I think they're getting. I think the streaming services are getting away from doing like the massive drops all at once because, you know, why not prolong the usage, right? The people viewing your
Sure.
platform. If you just drop it, you know, drop it all at once, it's like
Yeah.
you binge watch it a day. It's like you want to drive that engagement. over
That's
time.
fair.
Yeah, I think it's certain things, right? Like Squid Game, they knew we're gonna drop
Dude,
this
I
right
love
over Christmas, right?
Dude, the last Squid Game was great. I love
So
that.
good. Last season, they're doing another season in June. Coming back. Add that on Streamline.
That's like what? Why? That's so weird that a show like Squid Games, they're pumping it out like that, and then you have like a Severance that took them 3 years to film a whole new season.
Totally.
Like, what?
Didn't the one guy
Like, why is-
put up a fight or who's the main guy in it? Didn't he?
Adams.
You know, all 4 of us are golfers. Actually, Nate's a golfer too. by the
Yeah.
way. So all 5 of us in the room right now, golfers. I have 2. Okay.
Uh,
I don't know. You know, I got 2 hole-in-ones, and my low round's a 67.
yeah.
Would you rather have an ace? Well, first off, do you have an ace?
I don't have one. I've seen 2. Yeah, I've seen 2. I don't have one.
You haven't caught
Okay.
the fire yet.
Okay. Would you rather have an ace, which I think this is a pretty easy question,
Yeah.
or post your lowest round ever?
Well, is there a number on how, you know?
You
I probably, I really do want to break 80 at some point, but I really want a hole in one. So this is a tough one for me. So I'd probably slightly go breaking 80.
really?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I've been stuck on like 81 for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So it's like it's kind of
That's
eating
a
at
good
me.
score at Country Club. By the way. 81.
Is there? I've done it a couple times, so that one's definitely eating at me. But I mean, I really want an ace too. You know.
Well, you know, a low round, it's a lot of solid swings, 4 hours. Hole in one is
Give
just
it-
one swing.
You got a shot, right?
You know, number
it,
nine-
it
hey.
makes the score lower, right?
Number 9 at Country Club is calling for you to
Oh, dude,
Knock it in,
that's
man.
kind of my dream one of
Yeah.
the 4 there with the
go over
with
the water,
clubhouse
right? You get
sitting
surrounded
behind
by
it.
traps. Yeah, you get a
Yeah.
whole audience on the
Oh, it'd be good.
19th hole. All right, so we'll go. That's shocked. I did not think you'd pick a low round, but okay.
Yeah, I'm not you. I haven't fired a 67 or whatever you were telling me about before.
The better you get at golf, the worse it becomes to enjoy.
Right?
Being
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
if, you have
if
I post like a 78,
I'm still bad
I'm
enough to
going home,
enjoy
I'm just
myself,
like
is what you're telling
yeah,
me.
it's like I'm going home and I'm pouting. yeah. Yes, basically.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
It's fair. It's fair. I think we were partners and we won that day though with you making an eagle putt, which was
Whooped
pretty
their
sweet. Yeah.
Ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah.
I don't forget.
That was a bomb.
All right.
Thanks.
Let's
buddy.
go.
Got a couple more. Night in or night out? Today.
In. I just want to
No question.
find something to watch on Streamline.
Yep.
Chill.
Get some food delivered to you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
You know my answer on this one. I live
Yep.
in I live in the man cave.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the bunker.
You're probably the biggest out and about of the squad sitting here.
Mr. Cleveland.
Yeah, I still got it.
Yeah, he came to like our launch party. He's out and about.
Literally,
yeah.
it's Mr. Cleveland right here.
Yeah, he
You're
is.
like he's out 8 days a week.
Yeah.
All right, this is a good one. Okay, we can only get one. We can't ever have more than one championship, one team win in Ohio, right? So we
Yeah.
just had the Buckeyes, I
Yeah.
guess,
Yeah.
kind of. But if we're talking just Cleveland,
Yeah.
Cavs, Guardians, or Browns, if you had to pick one to get a championship,
I've been asked this question many times, and I really do view it like my 3 children. Like I love them all that much. But we've obviously had the Cavs,
Yep.
so it's got I want them all. But it's one of the other ones. But they're my 3 children. I will not pick on that one. I love them all that much.
Wow.
wow,
I do.
Wow.
I
this or
really,
that is I won't pick.
I am like a Cleveland sport of all 3 teams. Like I was in the house when the Cavs won it all. I was there for when the Indians had their chances to close it out. I went to the Browns playoff games on the road. Like I am like if we're I am
diehard.
absolute diehard.
Favorite movie?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Simply this.
Yeah, I don't know if I have just one.
How about this?
Yeah,
Comedy or drama?
drama.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite genre of movie?
probably more drama. I'd say like Shawshank's a favorite. Gladiator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those are a couple. I'm Road to Perdition. It's a classic.
Never seen that.
Yeah, no one's ever seen it. That's my one that I love. That whenever I tell people
that on
to end
your
up watching,
playlist?
they love it.
You got to
Go
play.
find it on Streamline. I'm not giving you any more information.
Yeah,
I've
figure it out
built
yourself.
something to give you the information.
All right. If we're talking about
Hard plugs.
a dream vacation, are we talking? Would you rather do a beach vacation or somewhere
Yeah.
like
Golf.
Scottsdale, where you're in the mountains a little bit, we're golfing? We're more of a beach person, chilling
Can
out.
hang at the beach for a little bit if I've played golf already.
I hate the beach.
Yeah. I mean,
hot take.
on my honeymoon, my wife was like, "Yeah, please go play golf. I don't want you at the pool or beach all day. Like we need to get some energy out." So yeah.
I love it, man. Well, cool. Ryan, I really appreciate it, man. You're on LinkedIn too, right?
Yes. Yeah. And Streamline's on there
Streamline's
and
on
other
LinkedIn.
social platforms. So,
Cool.
yeah.
If you're, to our listeners, go follow Ryan. Go follow Streamline. They're
Thank
doing
you.
incredible things, providing a lot of value and solving a big problem, and they're saving you time.
Yep.
So appreciate you, man.
Thank you,
Really-
Aaron. Thank you, John.
really
Really
appreciate
appreciate you guys.
Sure, man.
Yeah, this is fun. Thank you guys for having me.